put in and what you get out of it. The stock market is a skill thing, like tennis, writing, the piano. It takes practice, repetition, practice. We know that. Well, the stock market is no different. You're chipping away at getting better and better over time. You see, it comes down to knowledge and skill. Simply put, you get out what you put in. Now, the better you get, the fewer the mistakes you'll make, but I'll go one further. You will begin to recognize your mistakes sooner, correct them faster, when they're cheaper. That way, the big winners will really count. Number 7. Number 7 is the most important rule of all rules. We've been talking about it for at least 40 years. I will cut every loss at 7 to 8% when down from my purchase price. Don't think, don't rationalize, don't argue with the market, don't explain it away, don't hope, just sell. Now, how do we come up with this rule? Go back to the great winners. We went back to the model books and we found that if you buy a stock right in a bull market, it's emerging from a consolidation point with volume, it will very rarely ever go down 7 to 8%. So the real question is, how's your chart interpretation? If you follow the 7% rule, what is your maximum risk on any stock at any time? 7%. What's Wall Street's advice in this situation normally? Sit. Buy more on the dip. It's a big cap. It's corporate America. Or an investor might say, that's okay that I'm down. I'm a long-term investor. Or how about the person that says, well, I'm getting my dividends, so I'm happy. Okay, you're getting your 3% dividend. Your stock is showing a 30% loss. Won't your statement show a 27% loss? And my all-time favorite, it's a good company. It'll come back. In 1970 to 1973, Eastman Kodak was a fabulous company. The chart pattern was incredible. It had what we call a monster move. Admiral TV, many people probably remember Admiral TV, back in 62 to 1967 had a fabulous move. Levitt's Furniture, 67 to 71, had an incredible monster move. Where are these stocks now? You see, all stocks are speculative. All stocks are risky. Number 8. If I buy 10 stocks, I will most likely be wrong on 4 or 5. Know this up front. If we know that that is baked into the cake, then won't it make it easier for us to accept when we're wrong? And so therefore we can correct those mistakes faster? Now, how do you know when you're wrong in the stock market? Your stocks are down. See, the secret is to lose the least amount of money when you might be wrong. And we're all going to be wrong in the stock market a lot. It's just part of the game. Number 9, the faster I admit I am wrong in a stock, the faster I will stop losing money. See, here's the equation. We want to lose the least amount of money when we might be wrong, and we want to make big money when we're finally right. It only takes 1 or 2 stocks in your portfolio to make a big year if you keep your losses small. Now let's go back to the 7% loss-cutting rule for a moment. I have an interesting twist. Let's say that you cut your losses at 7% always. You don't have a problem with that. But one time, a stock that you cut at 7% turns around and goes right back up. What might the typical investor's thinking process be going through that situation? Well, gee, I can't believe that I sold this. It's a great company. I did all the research. It's got the CanSlim characteristics. And, I don't know about that 7% rule. Well, here's the trap. Half the time in that situation, the stock will go back up. The problem is the other half, it will go down, it will keep going down, and it won't stop. You see, it's irrelevant if your stock goes back up, because your objective is to keep every loss small to live to invest another day. We can always buy the stock back, can't we? Number 10, if I have a 25% loss, I will have to make what to break even? 33%. A 50% loss requires us to make 100%. And here's the one that wakes everybody up. Number 11, if I have a 75% loss, I will have to make 300% to break even. Now, what did we just talk about? The greatest winning stocks, when they top, they will drop on average 72%. This kind of a loss can bury you for years. Worse than the dollar loss is the damage to your confidence, which you have got to guard always. Because if you lose your confidence, there's a chance you will hesitate at a critical point in the market. Wall Street has a slang for this. There's the quick and there's the dead. We have a perfect analogy for this situation. Did you buy fire insurance on your house last year? Did your house burn down? Are you angry that you wasted your money on the fire insurance because your house didn't burn down? Why did you buy the insurance in the first place? You bought it to protect yourself against the remote possibility that you could be wiped out. And that's what the 7 to 8% loss cutting rule is. Catastrophic insurance. How often do you buy a stock that doubles, triples, let alone quadruples? Not often. So you can never let a stock go down 50% on you. You get so deep, you can't get out. And then, of course, your confidence starts to get shaken. See, the market doesn't care what we hope, what we want, that we think our stock is undervalued or oversold. The market is simply a supply and demand mechanism. If there's a large supply of stock made available and there are no buyers around and you happen to own that stock, you're going to get hurt. So we have to be able to recognize unusual weakness and get out. And we have an image for this. Let's say you have a 7% loss. You have to now make 7.5% to get back even. And you go down the line, and there's the 75%. And a lot of investors forget these numbers. And as I said, making 100, 200, 300% is awfully tough. We don't want to be put in that situation. How many people have been put in that situation because of the 2000 bubble bursting? Number 12, all stocks are bad unless they go up. They have to go up to be good. I know this sounds simplistic, but it's really true. If your stock's not going up, it's a bad stock, regardless of the story. Here's a slide of United Airlines. A friend of mine purchased it where the arrow is, and he was very happy with himself. He said he bought a great stock cheap. He bought the pullback. And here's where it went. Why do investors sit with losing stocks? I believe it's back to human nature. We don't like to be wrong. And we didn't buy a stock to lose money. You see, we cannot have favorites. If your stock is down, it's a bad stock. Now, I don't want to scare anyone. I believe my job is to paint a very real picture of how it really is on Wall Street. Because if we understand how it really operates, then we can build a strategy to handle it. Now, we spent time on defense. Let's flip the coin over to offense. Let's look at making money now. Number 13, I will let my profits run. Run. If you're up on a stock, your immediate reaction should be back off, give it some room. You don't know what that stock can do at such an early stage. Now, that is assuming you're buying properly as that stock's emerging from a sound base. Most investors will buy a stock at 50, and when it goes up to 52, they will sell it out immediately, fearing that the market will take that small profit away from them. When in reality, they should be backing away and giving it some room because it appears that they're on the right track. Now, selling is tougher than buying. I think most of us would agree. So we have one rule that will make the process mechanical and hopefully help you. It's a rule for you to consider. If you're up 20